Can we all just agree that there's just way too many holidays in this time of the year? I mean, literally from October until the beginning of April, it's nothing but holiday city. Every single one of them, you have to buy something. No wonder everybody's broke and busted by the summertime, because you've been having to spend money from basically November all the way until now. I'm sitting here watching these videos of like people designing Valentine's stuff and St. Patrick's Day stuff, and now Easter stuff is coming, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna build a super lo-fi anti-Easter t-shirt, and then we're gonna sell that. Before I can sell it, I gotta design it, so let's go. What's going on, everybody? My name is Dave Conrad. I'm an artist designer based in Southern California, and I was thinking to myself, like, does the Southern California thing really matter? I don't know. It's a thing. I'm keeping it. I'm a little punchy today. I've been sitting in the studio recording video all day long. Not just this video, but another video, which I will talk about more at the very end of this video. Big announcement. Huge! Well, okay, maybe not huge, but definitely a big announcement that you're gonna want to stick around for, so make sure you stick to the end. Let's get into this t-shirt design, but before we do that, hey, do me a favor, like this video, subscribe if you haven't done so already, hit that bell because you never want to miss a thing. Doing that stuff really helps me, and you guys have been helping me pretty good. You've been helping me pretty good. I thank you. I thank you, but I would like more likes and more subscribes. So what you see on the screen is actually, I jumped the gun a little bit. I actually did a little bit of work ahead of time. I found this vintage Easter card, and it would look kind of like this, and it had like this vintage kind of frame thing to it, and it said Happy Easter down below here, or Easter greetings or something like that. And I didn't want that. All I wanted was the eggs and these little twigs, sprigs of whatever these things are. I did all the work ahead of time and clipped all that out, because you watching me do that, you don't want to do that. Goal here is to take this, to use this image right here, and then turn it into something a little funny, a little bit, you know, like, hey, this is cliche, let's do the uncliche thing. You look over here, I've actually got this all separated. You can see, let's see, I'm gonna pull some of this down. So you can see I've got the sprigs on different layers, and then what I did is I did some coloration on this. This is what it kind of looked like, but I wanted to change the values a little bit because I wanted to bring out some texture there, because I'm not going to use the colors that are in this particular image. I'm actually going to black and white this. I did a little bit of hue and saturation to kind of bring up those colors a little bit, then added a little bit of a black layer to kind of bring some of that contrast back. So I'm going to pull this background down so you can see that there's transparent in the background, and I'm going to combine all these layers, and we're going to turn that layer into a grayscale kind of high contrast image. So the way you do that is you select all your layers, make sure that you're only selecting, or that you only have visible what you want to copy, because if you, this is, by the way, if anybody hasn't been paying attention, I'm using Affinity Photo for this. I probably should have said that sooner, but I didn't. I have all these elements already grouped. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a Command Option Shift E. Now that's for Mac. For PC is probably Control Alt Shift E. Don't quote me on that, read the manual. Command Option Shift E, and what that's going to do is create another layer of just all of those elements. In fact, I can take that layer off, and now if you can see, I've got this stuff on its own single layer. Now what I do is Command Click, that creates a selection around that, and then I'm going to add an adjustment layer of hue and saturation, but I'm going to take the saturation shift all the way down. And I might, let's see, I might bump up the luminosity just a tad, merge that down. Now I have a grayscale layer. So now that I have that layer, I want to keep it selected, but I want to add a little bit more contrast. So I'm going to come in here and add another curves adjustment layer and just kind of tweak that until it looks pretty good. I want some good contrasty blacks and some kind of high profile whites in there too. Curves are really good if you want to get a good range in color, but we're working with a bit of a grayscale image at this point, and so it's not going to be the best at getting a really good fine tune. I mean, you could probably play with it a little bit, but what I really like to do is I would add a levels adjustment layer and kind of tweak that. So as you can see, I kind of boosted up my black just a bit and brought my white up pretty good, so that I got a good high saturation of black and white, but not too much. I don't want any really dramatic hot spots or dark spot. And then I pushed my gamma a little bit more to the gray side so that it kind of beats back that white just a bit, just a tad. The reason I'm doing this is because at some point I'm going to colorize this entire thing by painting on top of it. And I'm just letting this stand as the kind of like the black and white background to just kind of add that kind of depth to it. But what I noticed is that my sprigs were kind of like adjusting at the right level concentration that my eggs were going at, and I didn't want that. I wanted the sprigs to kind of have a little bit more punch against the eggs. So I brought in a separate adjustment layer just for the sprigs, and you can see that they're selected. and then I just adjusted those. I really brought the black down and then pulled my white way up. Then, of course, once I did that, the eggs didn't quite look as vibrant against the other thing, and so I went in and just made some more adjustments to my eggs to get them a little bit more, I don't know, just, hey, just let's play along with the other guys, okay? I have all these different adjustment layers and I grouped them together. So now I want to get to the colorization mode, so I'm going to go ahead and start painting these eggs, and I'm going to paint them, but I'm not going to be super precise with them. I'm going to try and get close to the edges, but I'm not going to be totally precise because I want a little bit of a kind of a sketchy feel, and I also want to, well, I'm just going to use a mask to mask off what I don't want, so I'm just going to go in here and just start digging in. Now, the original design had these little speckled dots in there. You can kind of see a hint of them here. I'm just going to go in here and paint some little dots here and just kind of get this moving so it looks like, you know, like an Easter egg. I'm gonna do this over the whole egg. There you go. I have got it all done and I've got it masked off, and I'm gonna go ahead and change that to a linear burn on this one. Wow, linear burn? Hard light. I think we'll go with hard light on that one. One egg finished and it's speckled and it looks pretty. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint the rest of these, and I'm gonna do it off screen because you don't care about watching me paint. So the eggs are all painted. As you can see, I've got the blue with the red dots, I've got the pink, and I've added these stripes on the yellow, and then I did a little bit of decoration on those flowers, and all of those are painted on. Each one has its own blending mode on the different layers. Overlay for those little green ones, and multiply for the yellow, and I put a little mask on there so I could make sure to mask out the yellow for the pink on the egg, and then those little flowers. It isn't so pretty. Let's move on to the sprigs. So I colored in this first one, and I realized to myself, like, why would I go and just colorize that whole other one when it's essentially exactly the same? So being the smart guy that I am, I decided to just delete that other one and then duplicate the first one, and then there you go. Work smart, not hard. Work hard and smart, but work smart first. Now the punchline. Grab the type tool. Just gonna type out Easter eggs. How do you spell eggs? Oh, now I gotta move this over. Not plan that out well. Are gross. Looking pretty good. I could probably tighten up the kerning just a bit. Funny thing about script typefaces, folks, and this is something I see people make mistakes on all the time. You'll see people and they will, I'm gonna zoom in here, and I'm gonna set my kerning to a little bit long, a little bit wide on there. And you can see right there, you see that little mark right there? Right there, that little divot right there? That's telling you in a script typeface that your kerning is off. If you were to write that cursively, it wouldn't look like that. So this is what it should look like. It should look like it's a fluid thing. That's how script typefaces work, okay? From one typographic geek to hopefully another, don't ever do that. And change it to some sort of pink. Not quite the pink I want. I don't know how I feel about the layout though. It looks too linear for me. I feel like there needs to be like a little bit of a shift. Go ahead and tilt it here. Something like that. But see, now it's weird. Now the position is weird because now this is really close to there, but not close to there. So the solution here is to just offset my type a little bit. Now I could do that a couple different ways. I could create a new layer and all that, but really what I want to do is just want to select this type here, break out my type tool, and then come in here into my baseline shift, okay? And just bring that down. Let's say, I don't know, 30? I don't know, that looks about right. And then bring this, adjust my kerning. What I'm trying to go for is a distance that's equal here as it is here. And so I can position, just, it doesn't have to be perfect. Lightened up the type just a little bit because I really liked it against this pink. I really like the contrast of that. And I'm trying to think of like, how would this look on a t-shirt? And you know, pink is kind of a go-to for Easter clothing, right? Women wear the pink or maybe the yellow or the light blue. So I was thinking, okay, what would this look like against the pink? And this looks like that, but it's, you know what it is? It's just a little bit too clean. Everything else is grungy and this is not grungy. So I'm probably gonna go in and add some texture, use my tablet stylus here, and I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna paint some colors in here. Let's see, I'm gonna find a, let's find it. What do I got a good swatch going on here? See where we at, type layer, make sure I got it on the right layer. And I'm just gonna draw, baby. I'm just gonna, what's the wrong color? I'm just gonna draw And I'm just gonna leave this as like if it was a shadow. Wow, it's super dark. Maybe I'm gonna back that off a little bit. I don't know, we'll figure it out. We'll do it and then we'll change it in post. So I literally had to step away from the computer for 2 hours and then come back to this. But here we go. This is the final bit. As you can see, I went and did all that lettering there, and that's what it looks like. That's where we're standing right now. And I don't know. It's I'm working on it. I feel like it still needs a little bit more grunge, a little bit more texture to it, but I think overall, I'm pretty stoked about it. I just need to add a little bit of like, a little something something. I don't know what that means yet, but this is what it looks like on a shirt as is. I went over to Placeit.net and drafted up a couple of mock-ups. There's this dude in this kind of orangey yellow mustard kind of shirt, and it looks like that. Not bad. As you can see, I kind of did a back off on that shadow just a little bit, so I'm still playing around with that. And then there's this one, of course, with the lady in the kind of the female cut shirt. Again, I feel like it needs a little bit of a grunge texture, like a kind of a distress. Just something a little bit extra to add to that kind of vintage look and just kind of throw that together, because that type doesn't, even though it's cool and it's funny and I kind of dig it, it doesn't quite fit, and I just want to add a little bit of like a little bit of, you know, a little something. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to figure it out, and it's going to end up on a shirt near you at some point. All that is done, and I want to talk to you about something new and exciting. A couple of videos ago, I said, hey, when I hit 5,000 subscribers, I'm going to give you a big announcement. And I thought that was going to be maybe the end of March, and I was going to give you that big announcement. And then my subscribers started going through the moon. Just, I'm super stoked about that. But then it required that I needed to live up to the expectation of the thing that I promised. And the thing that I promised is that, hey, guess what? I've got a new YouTube channel. Yes! As I've expressed here a couple times recently, I am really focusing my energy on doing work, doing graphic design oriented work, talking about a lot of stuff in Affinity here and how that applies itself to the different projects that I have planned for myself, and also give a little bit of instruction to you guys. Basically all Affinity, all the time, right now on this particular channel, and I have no plans on changing that at all. But there were still lots of other things that I wanted to talk about. They just weren't hitting here. Anytime I dropped a video about Printful or Printify or any of the print-on-demand services, anytime I talked about Shopify, it would do okay, but not nearly as good as whenever I talked about the Affinity stuff. So I'm no dummy. I'm gonna do what the people want. And so the people want the Affinity, so here I am to help out. But that other stuff still needs to be talked about. So I started a secondary channel, and I will link to that there. On that channel, what I plan on doing is a more investigative approach to creative pursuit, creative exploration. Just to give you an example, if I see an opportunity where there's a new thing happening over on Etsy, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna explore that. Let's add a bunch of different shirts and things over onto a brand new Etsy page. Let's see if the things that I believe are happening over there are actually happening, and if we can actually make some money off of that. We're gonna explore print on demand, we're gonna explore different marketplaces, we're gonna explore different trends and like social media aspects. I'm gonna explore all these things and the implications behind them, and that way when somebody comes over to that channel and they wanna figure out like, oh my God, I have all these different things that I want to make, but I don't know what to make and where to put them, I'm hopefully going to be answering that question. It just blows my mind how many different ways we have to make money for ourselves, to at least expand our reach. And maybe you're not looking to make a ton of money, but you wouldn't mind a little side scratch just to kind of, you know, to satisfy that coffee itch that you have every single morning. Maybe you want that latte from the place down the street, and this is an opportunity for you to make a little bit extra money to pay for that. Or maybe you want to just be rich and famous. And I've no promises there, but hey, it could happen. I'm gonna talk about as many different opportunities as I possibly can, all in order to help myself better understand the marketplaces, and then ultimately help you do the same. So you wanna go check that out, go find me over at Dave Makes Things. That's the channel name. Not really much going on over there. There's only one video up so far. I've got another video planned for next week. I've already given you a hint what it is. You get a chance, if you're interested in that kind of content, go over there, subscribe, and well, there's only one video to like, and then share it with all your friends. Anyway, that's it. I've spent enough of your time. I hope you have a great weekend. If you have any questions, make sure you go down to the comments and leave them down there so I can answer them, all right? Thanks, guys. I appreciate you. Remember, be good today, be even better tomorrow. See ya. Oh, look, there's that other channel right there.